All right then, ladies and gentlemen, more Counter-Strike for us now here at the ESL Pro League Finals. We're live from Odense, and I will continue to try and pronounce that as close as possible. We do have a Dane joining us, though, as well as a Serbian. We do have Jacob joining us, as well as Janko. Help me out here.
Odense.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah,
I think we're getting there. Odense. That's where we're going to be battling, and where you will be joining us for the, of course, the playoff stages that will be filled with you fantastic Counter-Strike fans. And if Blast is any indication, you guys are pretty damn good at raising the roof. Still, let's get into the topic of discussion now. We move from Denmark to Sweden with Fnatic and their performance so far in this one. It's been hot and cold, Katy Perry style so far, Janko.
Yeah, I mean, for Fnatic, that opening great game versus FaZe, right? Even though it was in overtime, FaZe managed to claw their way back. Still a big win for them, and then they fall completely flat versus Hellraisers on the same map. So a bit difficult to explain. Luminosity on the other side. You know, great start against Hellraisers, 11-0 up, 12-3 half on Cash T side. That goes into triple overtime. They clinch the win, but then fall to Astralis after having a 9-6 T half on Train. Astralis manages to win 10 T side rounds of their own. So it's very difficult to gauge these teams as of just yet. And I think Fnatic is going to be more uncomfortable here because it's not just the fact that they don't play Luminosity in general as a team. They don't have any idea how these players like to play. It's something that we've discussed previously, you know, the likes of GetRight saying that, you know, I'm used to playing against certain players in clutch rounds. You know, I know what they like to do. I know how they like to play sides in an area that I attack. That's something that these Fnatic players will not have the luxury of knowing. Yeah, and Jacob, maybe you can help us out here for myself, the guys at home, and everyone else. It's just a question about when you have a team that truly, like when I even looked at the roster, I was sitting there like, I don't actually remember talking about him before. I don't remember him. I can't recall any incredible plays or any tournaments they've qualified for. So when they are as an unknown entity like LG, is there a more difficult side to it? Is there a not so easy side to a team that are unknown?
I mean, there will always be, like, we have teams who never play against each other in tournaments, but usually practice against each other, right? But in this case, it's a Sweden team, or a Swedish team, and a Brazilian team who are in two different regions. So none of them have ever practiced against each other. None of them really knows each other down to the wire. So it's more like who does the best preparation and who like finds the balance between, you know, preparing and playing your own game, because that's where it comes into play. You know, you want to prepare as much as you can, but you don't want to over prepare. You don't want to play into your opponent's strengths in that sense. So it's like finding the balance, finding out who actually has the better style for going into this matchup. And
apparently they've been performing really well in practice, Janko. This is all, of course, the living Counter-Strike / esports meme, whereby we take bootcamp results as an indication of form. That's not necessarily how we should be doing things, though.
Absolutely not, because, you know, in practice you're always, you know, the focus isn't as high and you're trying out new things and so forth. You're not really playing to win the game. But, you know, I think for a team like Luminosity, saying that they're doing good in practice certainly is a good sign, because you know, you wouldn't expect them to do anything anywhere pretty much. So even something like that gives you perhaps hope. And, you know, probably some of the players a bit more unknown, Cello and Nexis, they are the two newest additions to the team, came this summer from Pain Gaming, and Yelp, PKL and Showtime have actually been there for quite some time now. So they have been competing in North America for over a year, I believe, at this point. So it's a team that early on Fallen has been saying, for example, they are going to be the next like team, keep an eye out on them, but they haven't really lived up to that potential as of just yet.
I mean, Jacob, you were saying before we went on, you know what, that second best team from Brazil is kind of up for grabs at this point, right? I mean, we haven't seen what's coming of the ex-Immortals players, the Villa Mix, whatever you want to call them, and we now also have this team coming in, and they've knocked teams like Cloud9 are not here. They are. LG are up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team that's been trending upwards for quite some time now. I know Fallen went down and said, like, these are the next guys, you know, but then again, you know, you have to give them time, you know. They are moving all the way from Brazil to NA, you know, have to live the same thing as Fallen did, you know, so it's a lot of cultural stuff as well you have to take an eye out for. But I feel they have been trending upwards, and it's about time, you know, that we start to see them at these tournaments. They qualified for this one, they qualified for the ECS finals. It's like big results for these guys who, again, did tear up their roots and move to NA.
Yeah, and you had it in front of you. Do you still have it? The teams, the tournaments that they didn't qualify for. It was like Oakland they tried to qualify for. What else was in that list?
There was a lot of teams. Yeah, a lot of.
I was just interested because it kind of puts into perspective. They couldn't get for what? Can you read it out?
Yeah, it was Epicenter, Oakland, and DreamHack Winter or Denver. So tournaments, especially the DreamHack Opens tournaments, who are like low-tier tournaments, they should be able to qualify for them. They were at Montreal, where they placed 5th to 6th, went out in the group stage. So it's kind of like a team that it is trending upwards, but we still need to see the final result for them, or the final breakthrough in that sense. Yeah,
well, already good results here. Let's find out how things do go down on this next map. Let's find out what that's going to be. Let's do it nice and quickly. Just summon those vetoes, because of course LG's veto is somewhat of an unknown entity, not only for us but also for the team they're playing against.
Yeah, I think, wow, they first veto Train. Train is actually, alongside Cash and Inferno, 3 of their most played maps in general and on LAN. So them seeing it vetoed out as the first map is a bit surprising to me. On the other side of things, Nuke out for Fnatic, not surprising at all. Cash as well, maybe a little bit towards LG's strength. So now LG is actually in danger of having to play, either Cobblestone or Mirage, and both of those maps they only played them once on LAN. So it's going to be interesting to see where we end up. LG might be in a bit of trouble, at least looking at their previous results in previous maps.
Yeah, well, previously they couldn't qualify for tournaments. Maybe things have changed. Maybe that boot camp's done them good. They've actually been boot camping here locally, so that's going to go. They had, I think, about 14 or 12 days of boot camp here on European soil, and I mean, you can attest that is huge in terms of improvement.
They can change everything. They can change your map pool, the way you think about the game. Like, you can always read into the videos, but one thing is they did just lose to Astralis, with a horrible CT side, so that could scare them away from that map. Fnatic is decent on Train as well, so you can read as much into the videos as you want to, but fact is that, a bootcamp can't change everything.
It's important to know they've banned 2 out of their 3 most played maps, and they left Overpass in until the very end, which they've played 4 times with online games. So it's like they have probably completely changed their map pool, it seems like, for this tournament, and we do end up on Cobblestone, and I would say like this is a big advantage for Fnatic. Yes, they don't really play it that often themselves, 3 times on LAN, 2 close wins, 1 close loss, but maybe Luminosity has something in store here with a bit of a curveball map veto, Alex.
So you've got an unknown team playing a map that they haven't really played versus a team that doesn't really play either. So
they played it once, lost to Misfits on, I think it was the NA Minor.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go. They've played it once and they lost to Misfits, and yet they're going up against the big dogs of Fnatic. Admittedly, as Janko has beautifully put, on a map that Fnatic aren't too comfortable on either. This could be a show, for sure. Let's have a little look what you guys are saying. Let's have a little look. This is the viewer poll. You guys at home have been voting, and it seems like we do have plenty of Portuguese viewers. They're giving LG some love. The odds, I imagine, are stacked much more firmly in the Swedes' favour. There's no one here expecting an LG curveball, is there?
I could see it.
You could see it?
I could see it.
Okay, giving them something. We'll see what our casters are saying. Sorry, Janko, did you?
I was saying, Alex, like what in-game visual players in general hate is unpredictability and the unknown, and this is definitely as unpredictable as it gets for Fnatic, so I think they should just focus on their own game, be aggressive from the start, and that would be the best way for them to win the game.
Perfect. Now that's enough from us here at the Xfinity Analyst Desk. We're going to head over to the boys at the casting desk. This game may be unpredictable, but their performance in the casting desk is not. Okay, I got cut off.
It's just getting way worse as the day goes on. I don't even know if that went out to stream, but God bless if it didn't. That'd be good. Yes, Luminosity Fnatic.
I'm really curious to see what the Brazilians have in store, because I've heard all these great things. Obviously, off stream, on the B stream, they've been performing well. They've been taking teams like Astralis to their limits, albeit with a very poor second half. So I want to see, man. I want to see what these guys have to offer. I want to see if they're going to take Fnatic the distance on Cobblestone.
We've been hearing about this Luminosity team in North American region for quite some time. We've been told that they're going to rise up the ranks, and it's finally happening. We'll see how it goes. Krim's first point of contact, and he gets dropped like a sack of potatoes, and so does his teammate Golden. But here's Flusha, pouncing at the right moment, does bring it down into a 2-on-3, but still the kills from there all go the way of LG.
No arguing with that. I mean, I thought Flusha for a moment there was going to land a 3rd kill as well. They just didn't check his spot at all, but now it's down to JW.
I'm pretty sure they knew he was flanking as well, because Yell's been watching it, and yeah, he's looking for JW to come back. So that's why they cut through the connector over towards the B bomb site, and JW just knows at this point that he's been beaten. It shouldn't be possible to win this, and indeed, he's already down to about half HP. They do line up for him, but he can only get one. Showtime shuts it down.
Actually, a really cool jump around the corner there, just accelerating his speed a little bit, knowing that there's probably going to be a player waiting, and so it completely threw off their insta one-tap potential. It got him an extra kill ultimately, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, anything you can do there. That's just a very aggressive pistol run out of Luminosity. It seemed like Fnatic, I mean, they had 3 players there. Just great shots coming out. Obviously, Crims is a bit tough. He got isolated in danger, but Golden up top couldn't get anything done. If he even just gets one kill, that makes Flusha's position so much more powerful. Couldn't happen, though. So, 1-0. And now LG slows it down. Play pretty conservative, see what they're going up against before they decide where to go.
3 assault rifles, 2 MPs. Interestingly, no MAC-10s. Plenty teams would occupy at least one MAC-10 player, but Lekro, who for me was one of the shining stars for Fnatic on that Inferno game on A, is now trying to turn up the heat here on Cobblestone on B platform, and he actually takes minimal damage as well. That's a really solid pick.
Yeah, his Deagle is no joke. He's given up ground, though. He's given up the stairs. He's fallen back towards Statue. Golden still watching drop. JW is going to be close up with a CZ. So here's a 1-2 punch that can do some damage, but JW is going to back off the angle just a little bit. If they're able to cross over to the box, to the actual platform itself without taking damage, without taking losses, that could be deadly. JW is going to get flashed back. The Deagle from Lekro still not ringing true just yet. There it is. There's Golden as well.
No real smokes on the site whatsoever, so it's really allowing the CTs to just open up for free from range, which is where the Deagles are at their most powerful. And unless Showtime can pull off a crazy 1v3 with very low health, then it will be Fnatic taking the round. Pistols coming out strong, trading across the 2 AKs and the UMP.
Yeah, you said it. Just not enough utility out on the bomb site. JW, Lekro, they were allowed so many free avenues to take their shots, and in good positions as well to take a shot and get into cover. So relatively low danger peaks out of the Fnatic guys, and Luminosity gets punished for perhaps a misstep. All tied up. They're going to have Deagles of their own, 2 CZs as well. Some utility as they try and return the favor. Molotov to prevent any peek so they can get close up in these A-halls. 4 players here for Luminosity.
Flash is going to buy Flusha some time to throw out the incendiary as well. You may not realize that one player has actually made it through, which is going to be Cello. Or Kello, I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce his name. Cello. So he's going to get 2 with the CZ. He's down to 1 health though, and now Golden nearly gets a double of his own. In fact, he actually will at the very end. Last bullet will claim Yell's life. And although Luminosity have managed to scamper across to the bomb, it's not looking particularly great for them with very low health, and JW is going to make it a 3-on-2 now.
That opening from Luminosity was incredible. The timing of it, Flusha wasn't prepared, but it looks like it's all for naught. Although Showtime with an AK does some work. Bomb is planted for PKL. He's got the Deagle. There is a smoke on Lekro. No kit, though. It's going to be a long defuse. Bomb is tapped. We'll see if PKL is going to spam it. He gives up his position. There's Lekro and Golden playing this so perfectly, and the aggression's going to shut it down. 10-second defuse, and I think he's got it.
Yeah, it's close, but he's got it. He's all right. Fnatic have got the 2-1. And Luminosity will be, I guess, okay with that outcome. I mean, they could have potentially got more out of it, but you've got a bomb plant. You've got a really solid buy in the next round. They could afford to go for a few Deagles or something here as well. Give some options at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is they did some damage. I think in this round, though, you just play it safe. They have upgraded some pistols, no armor, no big investments. I like that because you want to go into your first gun round with everything you possibly can. Your first round where you're buying those AK-47s, you want the smokes and flashes and Molotovs behind it as well. So all good for Luminosity. Here's the Deagle. Molotov going to force Nekaz away, and actually more aggression out of JW. That's quite nice. Not giving up any ground. Jaco said he wanted to see Fnatic be aggressive, and so far it's working out here.
It's working out just fine. Yeah, minimal health lost, only 18 in total, and JW's going to get a second. Fnatic getting a bit of confidence in the meanwhile, and just Showtime and a Deagle stand between Fnatic in a 3rd round, and you just got to feel that he's delaying the inevitable at this stage. Bomb. I don't think the CTs have seen it yet.
Ooh, hello.
That's a pretty tasty one tap, but that's going to be the only play that Luminosity Gaming get out of this round at the very least. But as a result of their lack of investment, here comes an AK round. Yeah,
look at everything they're going to have when this comes up on the screen. This is great. Flashbang, smokes, 3 Molotovs as well to use. So that save is well worth it for LG. This is the best buy they could have hoped for. Still at MP9 on Golden. AWP is out on Flusha. That's new.
Yeah. you reckon that's just off spawn base, or is there more to it?
I am not sure, to be honest with you.
Well, he's currently sat up in A long with it, at the very least. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if they switch around the AWPs. We saw FaZe do it in the last game, but Guardian was always the primary AWP. It was just really who's going to be the secondary one. Flashing into drop. Golden can't see a single thing, so they are going to get 2 players down there and looking to start to push on the B side of drop now. They're going to see action from JW, who is going to put that M4 to use. Lekro in the alcove. If this doesn't get checked, he can just absolutely go ham. He's already got one, but his position now compromised. The second frag for Lekro, and PKL with an AK-47 may get a kill onto Crims or not. And Fnatic only lose 1 player, so their economy is booming at this stage now.
Nicely done from Lekro. That was a pretty dicey round, though. Golden was playing drop pretty passively, so JW had to bail out. He was about a half second away from just getting picked off from drop. As they got down, as they got control, he was playing right underneath that broken wall. Just gets away, finds a kill, and Lekro pounces at the right moment. They even were spamming. I don't know if they knew he was there or saw him earlier or heard something. But he almost gets cleared out. This looks like it's going to be fast-paced through the doors again for at least 2 players. And there's Flusha with the AWP ringing true. Aggressively going to find that pick. Same with Crims, and he's just going to bail out in the smoke. He hears the Deagle being shot. But there's really no danger in this round for Fnatic anymore. It's a 2-on-5 very, very quickly. JW still pushing, and now this is going to start dictating the rest of this half. If Fnatic continues to have this much success on aggression, the map all of a sudden shrinks and feels very uncomfortable for Luminosity.
Absolutely, and that's one thing I feel like a lot of CT teams actually struggle with, is when they're choked and they're forced into playing very passive on Cobblestone. That's where the large rotations from one side to the other come into play. That's where connector becomes more of an issue, drop becomes more of an issue. So I completely agree with you, Jason. I think if JW in particular keeps imposing his will, and again we're seeing that Flush is keeping the AWP, then Luminosity are going to waste so much time just making sure he's not pushing them.
I mean, it's a great tactic, and it's something JW's always been good on. Usually when he has the AWP is just when you're that aggressive and you're that much of a menace, you just buy so much space and so much time for your team. Luminosity's wasting none of it, speaking of time, as they're just basically rushing mid at this point. Flashbangs are out, Flusha's forced back, but no one coming halls. That allows Flusha to be here safely. It allows Crims to be over there safely, and they're just watching the edge of the smoke. There's a good find with the AWP. Nekis does take him down, but they have no idea that Crims is still here. This play could be disastrous.
He's finally going to start to strike, but he's going to go down. One of the determining factors actually as well is that Golden was making a rotation all around the back, and he went down. That being said, JW now in a 1-on-2. He's been having a solid map thus far. This would be a nice way to cap it off, but Cello is going to find his head, and the AK-47 is going to work. And maybe that's one of the way Luminosity are like, okay, you want to play aggressive? How about this? How about we just rush your site and take everything?
Well, yeah, especially because they've been aggressive towards B. So Luminosity like, all right, we'll just go away from that aggression, go up towards A very, very quickly, and just not enough got done. Now we're seeing a switch. Now we're seeing Lekro with the AWP. So shuffling it around between 2 players already very early on in this first half. Good execute onto A for Luminosity in that previous round. Fnatic could find nothing around those smokes. There's a boost up with the AWP to try and find a pick, but nothing's being given to him quite yet.
One thing that worried me a little bit on Luminosity's last 2 ventures towards the site is JW's going to get tagged and picked off by Nekis, who was low from Yell. Cello comes out with a kill as well, so hold that thought, but... and a second kill is... Wow, okay, Luminosity, calm down.
Yeah, I mean, if they're just going to get out dropped this quickly, it'll be interesting to see if Luminosity continues to abuse that. But for the moment in these past 2 rounds, these fast, aggressive tactics, Luminosity's found they're working against Fnatic. More aggression from JW gets picked off, and Showtime is just lurking, ready to take guns away. Spots one in the connector, spamming through the door. Isn't going to find it, but he knows he's got him trapped. There's the peek from drop. PKL's got himself 1. Could go for a second. Flusha at 13 HP. And surrounded and being hunted.
Yeah, he knows there was a player that was around stables at A-long, so his days numbers. Just hoping to frag out before he inevitably went down. The thing that was worrying me a little bit about Luminosity's B hits is that they seem to have a distinct lack of utility or any kind of set plays when they pushed out. This is something that the MSL's teams are typically good on, like North and before Dignitas. Because obviously, we mentioned Rubino before, used to be such an aggressive part of their B takes, where they just completely swarm the entire site with Molotovs and smokes, just completely choke all vision. But it seems like Luminosity, they don't have great set plays, but they have phenomenal fast plays. So I worry now that Fnatic may have to adapt themselves.
Yeah, they might have to. Certainly slow down the aggression that JW's busting out towards B. Maybe give it a rest for a few rounds and kind of try and surprise Luminosity in the future. Either way, 5-3. Pretty big testament to the opening rounds for Fnatic that they were able to build up enough money to buy for 3 straight losses. Only 8 rounds in. Flush has got the UMP, 3 M4s, MP9 on Golden. 4 AKs and up on the Luminosity side of things. Just over a minute left in the round, and Luminosity has gotten A-Hall's control.
They have Flusher would have liked to stuck around a bit longer, but just with the UMP, can't afford to play the longer range up A long. So he's backed away. Crims is watching mid, but he's by himself. It looks as though Luminosity are about to push in force. And I feel like Flush's position here is just more scouting than anything else. He can't hope to realistically contend with an AWP at this sort of a range. So he's just trying to feel out for the rest of his team. Now up close in this position, he can do some serious damage. Crims is still waiting in mid. He doesn't know if someone's pushing around the back of him. Could all just come down to timing. They're going to line up for Flusher. He's already got one, and Cello is low. If he can land another headshot, maybe it was possible, but he is going to fall after just that one kill. And JW again in familiar territory, 1-on-4, no real hope of getting anything. Just backs off.
That time as well, Luminosity slows it down, so even the slow tactic working now. Abusing the fact they have more utility than Fnatic. Flusher with that UMP could only get 1 kill, couldn't take fights at range, so this is looking good for Luminosity all of a sudden. It was a quick start for Fnatic, but LG's kind of figured things out. I think JW now has been spotted as well. There's 1 kill onto Cello, but it's going to be traded immediately by Showtime. A double kill in the round for him. And that's a 4th for Luminosity, and that's a broken economy for Fnatic.
I wonder when that timeout comes to Fnatic, because they had this nice streak of 5 rounds after losing the pistol. But then since then, they've had a bunch of rifle rounds that have just gone horribly wrong. So at what point do they press the stop button and try and wrap their heads around what's been going on here?
Here's a nade stack from Fnatic. 4 HEs bought up. Lekro, Golden, Crimson, JW all heading over towards this B bomb site if they hear the footsteps. And they do. This could be monstrous. 3 nades, 4 nades coming out. But oh no, Luminosity got behind the wall at the right moment. They stopped. And there's the MAC-10 from Cello getting 2 kills. That's weakened things, and that's going to propel Luminosity forward, it seems like. But no, they call it off at the last moment. PKL is watching for aggression. Missed opportunity there to punish Golden, but he gets a second. And now no reason for Luminosity not to just march forward into this B bomb site. Completely blind is JW. Nade stack was so close to being a real thing.
Yeah, you absolutely hate to see that. Flusher's got 1 at least. A bit more money in his back pocket, but that's all. Yeah, they had the right idea. They heard, as he said, they got the sound cue. They're like, okay, let's go for it. Let's toss our 3 nades in. Slightly too shallow. And that cost them dearly in the end.
I'm wondering if that was a good idea from Luminosity to like bait out the nade stack, because they just ran the whole way and then just stopped cold.
That could be, yeah. Yeah, they definitely did stop where they would be safe from any nade spam. The other thing as well about this game, and I'm not sure if they mentioned it on the desk, but with all the previous matches tying up the entire table at 1 win and 1 loss, this group is ripe for the taking. I mean, we said this after the first game. It's just blown it wide open.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. Things are going to get weird before this is all said and done, and I love weird. Here's Golden. He gets dropped by a headshot. Cello's made his way down drop. They have control. And this is such a tough adjustment for the defense, especially considering Showtime's made his way up A. JW is about to get deleted, and he's going to be so frustrated. Luminosity is buying time for Showtime to make this play, and somehow they've wrapped around each other. Lekro is the one who's going to be punished instead, and there's no one at the B bomb site anymore. I think Fnatic is going to be so confused how this round played out.
Absolutely, but now they've just got to dust off those cobwebs and get focus in hand. The fact is, they don't have a kit right now. JW has just picked one up, and with that kill, maybe they can make the magic work after all. The Molotov, though, is probably going to be the red stop sign in their eyes.
They only have 1 kit. They do have some utility, but It's just such a low percentage retake, and actually even this is a bit of a nightmare. You want to keep that weapon, trying to boost up. I don't know if they're trying to go for it there and get a flank on, but I think more than anything they were likely just trying to take some guns out at the end, but they can't afford that. Luminosity on a good run here. This will be their 5th round in a row.
Yep. When pistol rounds Luminosity, then 5 rounds of Fnatic. 5 rounds of Brazilians. Flusher is not going to be able to hold on to his weapon. PKL was the sacrificial lamb. And there is the tactical timeout that I was waiting for.
And good lord, does Luminosity have a lot of money. 3 players over 10,000. They're going to be fine with some of those kills being traded out at the end there. And this is a pretty simple T-side from Luminosity, all things considered. They're not necessarily doing anything fancy. They're staying grouped up. They're focusing on trading. They've had a couple 4-1s in there. I can't believe Showtime found that much space to get into Connector in the last round. That'll be something that Fnatic's talking about here. But they've got to get going soon, and I think this is even going to be a round that they just sit out. You want to get the AWP back in the hands of Fnatic. You want to get the rifles, the M4s, and all the utility. They have the full losing bonus, so they can invest in some pistols and some upgrades. Crims is actually bought out. Oh, he saved the M4 from the last round.
Yeah. He held on to it. The only player that survived, Flusher, died just before time. Yeah. But I've been impressed as well how Luminosity have adapted to Fnatic's early aggression. Fnatic aren't playing aggressive anymore. They have been punished too many times. And now Luminosity, firmly in the driver's seat, firmly in control, even though it's only 6-5. The fact of the matter is momentum, the rifle rounds have definitely been going their way. And Fnatic's economy is in no great shape. So if they win this, they're in prime position to get probably 8 or 9 rounds at least on this off.
Pretty dangerous, though. JW's got his trademark shotgun in hand. He'll have that at Broken Wall as well. This is where the number of times we've harped on Luminosity, a couple B hits they've had where they haven't used utility as effectively as we'd like to see. Remember, they did lose that second round to a buy like this, Deagles, and it's starting out much the same way. Lecro finding in the opening kill at range and being able to survive.
Yeah, but a deja vu. We saw it earlier. And from that pick, they actually won the round. Pretty much everyone chimed in with their pistols. And this time they've got even more firepower behind them. But Luminosity, credit to them, they've conceded the first kill, decided to instantly start heading back towards A, but no one's gone long.
Well, I mean, JW's pushing B at the moment, so this is going to be a stack for Fnatic over at A. You have to feel like this is going to be so difficult for Luminosity to win. They're walking up, and they have no idea they've been read this hard. It all comes down, can they get the kills? There's a shot from Golden. It's a crossfire setup. Flashbang is out. That's perfect. Luminosity turning this around, even though it's stacked. Great shots from Golden. Almost gets a third, but JW's here with the shotgun. Can he make something happen? No. Nekas is just too far away. That's harsh.
And for us, mentioning that their utility wasn't great on B, the flashbangs were absolutely perfect.
Oh, it was beautiful, wasn't it?
It basically just cut the CTs in half. They couldn't cover each other. There was no crossfires. They just picked one after the other simultaneously, systematically. So, I mean, you got to tip your hat to Luminosity there. That take was spot on. And as you said, with JW pushing around the back and Flusher having A long control, they knew exactly what was coming at them. It's just the utility was the key difference.
JW at about half HP. Golden alone in drop zone, as if he didn't have enough responsibility on his shoulders as the in-game leader. That'll be Cello and PKL to try and take control of drop. Nade's out, going to do decent damage. But here comes the take. Molotov's used to force anyone out in the open. Cello drops into the flames, and Yell gets an opening pick towards A.
Is actually going to draw out JW. In the meanwhile, Cello's got another one. This is quickly turning sour for Fnatic.
The timing of when they attack drop is so good, because Yell gets that pick, and that's when you know kind of rotations are going to come out where information needs to come in for Fnatic, and that's when they choose to pounce. Also a very crisp shot from Cello onto Golden. And now you can split the defense in a very, very big way.
You've got to feel bad for JW. He's all on an island by himself. There's just no cavalry coming, but that flashbang is spot on It felt like maybe they were going to line up for him. Lecro's got one, likely no more. He was down to 1 HP, and PKL will do the rest. After a 5-round spree from Fnatic, it has been 7 rounds in a row now to Luminosity Gaming.
Yeah, this is looking so clinical from Luminosity. They have everything down for a team they talked about on the desk. This map isn't great for either of these teams, but certainly wouldn't have expected this out of Luminosity coming in, but they're making it look easy, peeling Fnatic apart. And because, again, the losing bonus is maxed out, Fnatic's going to go for a half-buy shotgun on JW, pistol and armor on some of the others. They'll have plenty of money in the next round to get whatever they want.
Luminosity just slowing it down again. They know that they have the firepower advantage, utility advantage, pretty much everything. Almost just waiting for Fnatic, expecting some kind of an aggressive play like they've done before. This time it's going to be Crims up through mid. He's holding the close angle on the mid doors with his MP9. So, if nothing else, you may see him try and nip round the back of Luminosity Gaming if they hear any sound or if the nades start to fly in.
And why not try and make a play like that? Like, you've been just getting beat when you're just holding your angles and doing everything standard. This is even going to get caught out. Luminosity is just on top of their game at the moment. JW trying to get boosted up with a shotgun, gets taken down. Nice flashbang forces Golden back as well, and there's a pick from Yell with the AWP. Just waiting for someone to go for information, and they know they've been taken down by Lecro's Deagle in that same position a number of times. PKL even getting one through the door. All these fights going the way of Luminosity. It's just down to Flusha, and even that goes Cello's way. He's hyped.
Props to Luminosity.
That's the guy we're hearing.
That's the guy we're hearing every time they're screaming.
Yes.
Okay, it is pretty loud. I'm not sure if it's picking up on our microphones though.
They might not be.
We can hear it clearly though, guys. Trust us. We're not going crazy.
Well,
don't go that far. That's debatable. There's going to be no kit for Fnatic in the last round. But to be honest, by the time Luminosity are getting onto this site, Fnatic are kind of all dead anyway, so I kind of understand that.
Has a kit really mattered in any of these previous 8 rounds in a row for Luminosity?
I mean, in these previous 8 rounds, they've only got 1 bomb detonation, so no, it doesn't matter at all.
Well, pop flash from Luminosity for Showtime to turn the corner works well. Counter flash from Fnatic from Flusha. Buys him time to fall back towards danger. Luminosity being patient across the map.
Yeah, again, probably calling that Fnatic don't have a huge amount of nades and will at some point have to push for some kind of information again. Just 2 smokes and 2 flashes. It's really nothing with a minute to play with. This is looking dire for Fnatic, it's got to be said.
Everything's been tempered, hasn't it? The aggression we saw early on has been put back. JW no longer wants to be pushing the B-hulls. Playing around a smoke at the moment. Cello and Neck is going to take drop zone with the help of some smokes. Going to push right through it. Showtime's got a kill, and Golden was ready for that. He's got the timing down. He knows as soon as a kill comes out on the other side of the map that he's got to prepare himself. Luminosity pressuring this A site. Crims, he's transferred over. Sprays down 2. There's Golden pouncing as well. So Fnatic has the upper hand in this last round. Its Neck is in a 1-on-2.
Only 19 health as well, and low time, and he doesn't have control of the bomb. I think he may have actually just indirectly screwed himself. His Molotov spread too far, so he couldn't pick the bomb up. Otherwise, he would have died. He would have pulled off a bit of a facepalm moment. But it is going to be 9-6.
Which it feels closer than that half, actually.
Yeah.
I think it is closer than what that half feels like it should be, but a great 5-round run early on in that half for Fnatic puts him in position, even though Luminosity dominant for most of it, an 8-0 run for them in the middle of that half. That's really good stuff. Either way, we're going to go to a break. We'll see if Luminosity can finish off Fnatic when we return from the break.
Whoa! Whoa!
It all looked so good for Luminosity. They came prepared on Cobblestone. That much is obvious. Fnatic gets 6 rounds, but, I mean, they did get shut down 8 rounds in a row at some point during that first half. So can they turn it around on their own offense here, Vince?
I think they can. It's been kind of a strange map so far, where it seems one-sided in both ways streak-wise, because Fnatic had 5 of their own, if you remember, after the pistol. So they could have extended that as well. I think it's definitely possible, but obviously this round is absolutely everything. Smoke and flash for Golden. Apart from that, Fnatic comes straight through with Kevlar's. They got a P250 in the hands of Flusher as well. Here comes the flash into drop, trying to take control. And control they will get for the time being. It's what they do with this, though, that really counts. And PKL's already waiting. He's hiding in the smoke, but he's going to get completely crushed from Crims. Let grow onto Showtime. And now, Cello has got a huge task ahead of him. And he's going to wait for the right moment, and he just gets picked off. I think he was hoping that a couple more players would maybe come around the corner and he could get some kind of masterpiece, but Fnatic have just absolutely bombarded Luminosity Gaming. I mean, there's nothing to really talk about there.
Yeah, I think he was hoping, one, that he would have to have a sequence of like 2 to 3 kills to bring his team back in, but also didn't want to take the shot at a jumping player knowing how awkward that can be, so waited for him to land, and unfortunately just a great reaction from Lekro. So 7-9, Fnatic win the pistol round of that second half. Both teams winning their offensive pistol round. CZs and Deagles out for the Luminosity side of things.
Flusher Mac 10. We saw what he could do with that against FaZe up Banana.
That was ridiculous, wasn't it?
Crushing heads. I think he got 3 kills.
Against rifles as well.
Yep. Let's see if he can have a repeat performance in this round. For the time being, though, he's actually going to be branching off from the rest of his team in mid. I was going to say that, I mean, the Mac 10, out of all the weapons they have, probably the worst for this kind of range. I mean, he nearly gets punished. He's down low.
Surprised Cello didn't press the issue after he got that dink. Either way, 4 players for Luminosity over towards B. There's 2 essentially watching drop, or at least playing contain on it. They're going to give up drop zone and try and keep him in, but it's not working at the moment. Golden coming down. PKL walks right into the bullets, and there it goes. All 4 are dead. Just Cello.
Well, I believe they said on the desk that in Luminosity's previous match against Astralis, it was their CT side that let them down significantly. So
yeah, on train they had like a 9-6 half on the T side and switched over and got beat.
Maybe that could be a reoccurring theme. But Cello, with his 2 health, is able to dispatch of Golden, but he's actually lucky to survive because they were spamming through the doors. Surely he's not going to be able to take that UMP out of this round.
No, I think he's dead either way. The question is, can he get one before he falls? And the answer is no. So 8-9, Fnatic closing the gap. It was just 3 at half, obviously. But starting to look good for them on the T side. But now we can really see a Flusha how much he wants to crank up the aggression with that Mac 10. Knowing you're going against unarmored opponents, you just had the pistol armor behind the previous rounds. This is where Flusha can really try and go make some money. Some bonus money. And Golden's really playing an economy game. He doesn't even have a gun. He just has the USP. Not picking up an SMG, not picking up an AK.
To each his own, I guess.
I like it. You're not risking anything, so...
Yeah. You know that the entire team's going to be on full-on eco as well, or at least just pistols at best. Yell's gone for absolutely nothing, so he will be able to afford a knock pretty soon. He's actually on 4 and 10 right now, but I think it's another one of those occasions where the stats don't really paint the full picture. Either way, Flusher coming straight in with a kill with his Mac 10. And the rest of Luminosity are on B. And the reason I say that is because the Luminosity was so fast in their aggression, like Yorp never really had a chance to do anything.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Golden with the USP going to close down their last 2 kills. No one dies on the Fnatic side of things. So here it comes. Here's the buy. Yell's going to have the AWP. We saw him get a couple nice picks with it on the T side. See how he can wield it on the CT. And Golden likely going to be picking up an AK-47 as well. Flush has got one, and there's going to be no op for Fnatic on their T side. Quite yet, at least.
Yeah, that's something they can go back to if this round doesn't work and they get repelled. But I think this is where we're going to see what Yell really has to offer, as the CTs will be a slower affair. No rushes here, at least. Not the whole team, and there we go. We speak of the man who's delivered. JW has been put 6 foot under.
That was a very unconvincing rush, wasn't it? Just the Mac 10 and just abandon him. It's like, oh, he's out. Everyone leave. Well, if that was like a recon mission, he's at least been able to tell him there's an op in the map.
But with 1:15 left, how much is it worth?
I'm not sure how much it accomplishes. Also, that push from PKL opens up Showtime to get aggressive, and 2 good kills from Fnatic, and now it swings back into their favor.
Maybe he just knew all along the rest of his team would have his back. The Crims is down to 10, Golden 66. Not too many nades though for Luminosity, just the 1 smoke and 2 flashes, and they don't currently possess a kit. It's going to be all A for Fnatic.
This is a round that Luminosity can come back in. A lot of it's going to be timing with Nekaz. Which way is he peeking when the attack comes in? There's a flashbang. Nekaz peers back towards mid. He's got the timing down, at least in this direction, this angle. Takes the fight, gets a dink. That should be a double kill for Cello. It is. He knows there's no more coming. It's a 2-on-2. He's got to fight his way out. The Molotov forces Yell away, prevents him from helping out his teammate. But he can actually stop them from getting into the site, but he's not aggressive enough. Bomb's already going down. He's going to jump out window with that, and that knowledge should be passed on to Flusha.
Yell, again, no nades, no kits, but does have Lacro's number and takes him out the equation. Bomb is planted for Flusha. That means he'd have to show himself around stables, and he's just... Oh! What a shot by Yell! Oh my god!
Just casual. Scratching of the nose. Flusha gets taken down. That is a really ridiculous shot. The jump peak backfires onto Flusha. Beautiful from Yell, but that's an expensive round. They're not out of the woods just yet. They still have the AWP, obviously, but it's going to be pretty dicey outside of that. 2 UMPs are bought up just for utility. Nekaz has an M4 with actually pretty good nades and a kit. Cello's missing all of his utility, but they'll take that. They'll take that any day of the week.
The reason why I think that's so impressive is because I feel like a lot of AWPers would have been tempted to flick up for this shot, but he just kind of kept his crosshair where he expected the player to move into.
Yeah.
Just timed it perfectly for the wall bang instead. I feel like if that's like a Guardian or somebody, they'd probably just try and flick up. They'd probably still land it, of course, because they're bots.
Because it's Guardian.
Yeah. That's a hell of a clutch.
As if we need one more Brazilian team being competitive in the scene too. The rest of North America is just like, please, no.
What a state of affairs if we have more top-tier Brazilian teams than Swedish teams. But Nekaz with 2.
That's spicy.
And Showtime is able to put the smoke down and hide behind it. He's playing with fire, though.
I don't know how he's gotten away without taking any damage. That might change now. Molotov to slow him down even further. I think he has to have called out that there's 3 here. I think he has eyes on all of them. Smoke's out as well, but Fnatic is about to run into an already fully rotated Luminosity. Pop Flash is going to allow Showtime to get aggressive. Calls out the second one. Nekaz with the trade. He's down low. It's just down to Flusha. 1-on-2. One of the best clutch players in CSGO history. See what he's got to offer.
Can he return the favor, Jason? Because Yell is alive. It would definitely hurt Luminosity's economy if he was able to pull this off.
It's going to hurt already, right? They got 3 kills. The nice thing is Flush is just running, and no one is here from Luminosity. So he'll have time to he'll get the bomb planted, and he'll have time to adjust his position after this plant goes down.
I like it, though, because it's kind of a gamble. You know, if you run across there and they stick on the site, you have time to then retreat and move into the position that you want to be in. You're not kind of limping in with 1 or 2 seconds left, and you're kind of forced into what the CTs want for you. And he's going to listen for the sound cues. Of course, you can just imagine the vac spam right now. He's listening to find out where Luminosity are pushing in. This is very much a possibility. There is a HE, but that's all for Luminosity at this point. And Flusha has just been destroyed by Nekaz.
He had the play he wanted. He had the fight he wanted as well. Didn't seem too confident in the peak itself, but there's a world there where he can win that. They touched on it at the desk, is when you're playing a team like Luminosity that you haven't played a whole lot, like one of the things you're missing, I think Yanko referenced Get Right, who says, when I play against all these teams that I've been playing against, I know how certain players want to play certain situations, how they play each bomb site. Coming into play here, one of the things I've noticed especially with Brazilian Counter-Strike, obviously really, really popular from SK, is they just stick to bomb sites. Like, no matter, they don't split up in those kind of situations. In like a 2-on-1, it'll be 2 players stay at A, and they're just like, we'll just retake it together. So that could be something where Flusha, just knowing that, just sprints over to B and says they'll both stay at A.
I think he played it perfectly up until the last moment where he just got completely domed.
Up until he got shot in the face, yeah.
Exactly. But the post-plant, I'm totally on board with. Just, unfortunately, the execution when it came to the shooting, not quite up to task. But it's going to be double up setup for Luminosity. Showtime's picked up the second one. I don't believe Fnatic have had an up on their T side thus far. Do correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's been full AKs majority of the time.
He's all going so well until he got shot in the face. 11-9. All 5 players from Fnatic towards this B bomb site. This is going to be a firefight. Great positioning from Cello. Here come the smokes. Here come the Molotovs and the flashbangs. Cello still not bothered whatsoever. Fire not reaching him as well quite yet. It's looking good so far. Yell not able to find anything. All the utilities expended over the smoke. Yell gets one. Nekas chimes in. Most of the danger of this attack, and in fact all of it, is pretty much gone. It's just down to Crims. The execute doesn't work for Fnatic. They'll have to go back to the drawing board. Crims has 1 kill and he's in a 1-on-4. And Cello still hasn't given up his position. When does he pounce? That's the insurance policy for Luminosity here. As Crims tries to find a 1-on-1 fight, anything he can do. Chip away at the economy. Can't even do that. It's a 12th.
That's some great discipline by Luminosity Gaming. They also had Showtime, who'd wrapped all the way around the back into the Dragon Room and was just basically sat there and like, I'm a blockade. You can't then rotate around the back towards A.
Yeah.
So then you also had Cello, was in the alcove that you're talking of. They're just waiting. They weren't trying to impose their will. They weren't getting carried away. They weren't getting cocky. I love to see that. It was cool. I feel like a lot of players would
very
just peak.
Disciplined.
Yeah, incredibly disciplined.
This is now Luminosity on a 3-round win streak. About to run away with this game as well. Fnatic's got to find the answer, and they've got to do it quick. Bomb is over towards the B site. 2 players in A halls. Luminosity still has this double up setup. I'm not even sure if Fnatic spotted that out quite yet.
Yeah, I think Showtime was totally out of the fight. He rotated from A. He was the player that was watching from the backside. So all they know is that Yell was in chicken coop and was ripping to pieces. And I felt like this would be a fair representation, and so far Yell's been impressing me on the CT side. PKL has just heard some noise down in drop. But Fnatic, with only pistols, are going to find it hard to break out of there.
Well, it's tough because they want to. They don't want to go towards the B bomb site because they have 2 players over at A. They want this to be a split towards that A site. So at some point, they're going to have to go right at him, and Neck is coming from behind. Gets 1, can't get a second, and does that drop the M4 down? There's the op missing a shot. They're going to have to boost up to get that rifle. And I mean, Flusha and Golden, I think, made their way up towards the fence, and then one fell back. Cello is so confused at the moment. He's hearing the gunshots, hearing the footsteps, but he hasn't seen anyone. Getting wrapped behind now as well. That's an awkward position to be in, and somehow Fnatic have picked this defense apart. They've pulled them all out of position.
First kill went the way of Luminosity, and they have just got 2. In the matter of a second, so that's going to bring things back to equality, but PKL only on 13 health. HE in a flash. Bomb just got put down. Golden and Crims. Crims has been a lot of clutches so far. There's Yell with the AWP, though. Takes Golden out of this clutch. It's all on Crims. He at least has an M4, and he has the close angle, but if they push him together, he shouldn't come out ahead in this round. PKL goes in first, though, off by himself, but now it's down to Yell, and he's going to get sprayed as well. Fnatic live to fight another day, but that is a round they simply should not be winning.
That's a very awkward round to win as well. I'm not quite sure how that worked. Luminosity lost track, and it seemed like they gave up a lot of ground over towards that A bomb site. 2 players getting up towards that spammable wall towards the fence, and then being able to fall away and fall back. Pressuring drop the whole time as well. Even with the big flank coming in for Luminosity, you would have imagined that been sealed up. But look at it, 3 rounds in a row, and they cannot buy after a 1 loss. That's great for Fnatic. An easy round to try and close up the gap in the score.
How quickly the fortunes of a counter-terrorist team change. Luminosity were looking great, they were looking like they were going to pull away, and suddenly, nope, you've got no money left.
Yeah, it's so unforgiving, isn't it? That's tough. Fnatic very centralized at the moment. 2 towards drop, 2 making sure there's no pushes towards B. And Flusha watching for a push outside of A. And there's really nothing, I mean, that's the big thing, right? 3 USPs, 2 CZs, there's really not a whole lot that Luminosity can do to stop map control. They might swing here. It would be bait Yell, because PKL's got the CZ. Here it comes. There's the jump out, but actually all of Fnatic has fallen away. It's mistimed. That's going to give Fnatic the opportunity to just walk around B platform, get the angle. Showtime's going to be in a world of hurt as he gets taken out by JW.
It's going to be easy pickings now for Fnatic. You have to feel the USP. Ironically enough, is going to want to get 2 kills for Yell, so that's more money towards his next AWP fund. But I like the Fnatic went out onto the B platform as well. Once you've covered all the angles, then you have the long-range weaponry advantage. Like there's not much you can do with the USP or a CZ from Fountain if someone's wrecking your head off with an AK.
Yeah, especially because that angle is so brutal once the T's get control of B platform. Double up setup for Showtime and Yell once again. 12-11. So Luminosity tries to get back into the swing of things. Showtime's going to be pushed up aggressively towards A Halls, but Fnatic's not taking it fast. Looked like Golden maybe was trying to pressure towards B, but the utility forces him away. Not a whole lot of it left for the Luminosity side.
They've gone for firepower over extra utility, and that could come back to bite the Brazilians in the backside. Because we're just shy of 1 minute and 20 seconds now, and they have 2 smokes and 3 flashes, and that's all they have.
I mean, they want these ops to ring out, and actually, can Showtime even get away in time? There is an M4 here, but they're lined up. That is so awkward. I don't think they meant for that to happen whatsoever. Flush is going to push forward, knowing he just got 2 kills, and the rest of Luminosity, they're staying in B. I think they're calling this around, and they're saying, let's just save what we have. Oddly enough, Fnatic hit the brakes, so Luminosity might have been able to actually get there in time. Crims is going to have them blocked in, though, so they can try and take away these guns if they'd like to chase.
A few players are low, though, for Fnatic. I'm not sure how much they'll want to give away in return. I think both teams might be okay with just, you know, calling around here, tapping out, and allowing each other to walk through into the next one. It would be 12-12. And Luminosity, I'm sure they would buy behind this with an AWP, M4 and a FAMAS. Wouldn't be great, though.
No, it wouldn't, but, I mean, you can buy a pistol, you can buy a shotgun, obviously. Yep. We know those weapons can do some damage, especially if you're able to find a way to get Yell to be like at the point of attack, to be the initiator on the CT side. There's an AK down as Golden tries to chase it down. There's 3 players of Fnatic here. How much farther they're going to wrap around? And a shot from JW. Crims responds, and there's the nade. They're doing a very good job of taking these guns away, but as you said, some of the Fnatic players are low. At the end of the day, they might think that this isn't necessarily worth it.
I think overall, that's actually not a bad outcome for Fnatic because you've actually got JW on nearly 10k, so he can drop or just get an AWP for himself or just an AK or whatever and they'll be fine. Whereas, now that they've taken the 2 rifles away from Luminosity, there's almost no chance they're going to buy behind the AWP now.
Yeah, well, when we were theorizing a shotgun and a pistol,
yeah,
it had 3 guns, but now that 2 of them were taken away, there's really no good reason to do that.
Right.
Love this, though. Zeus is out. Close to the double doors. I would love it.
Do you remember when the Zeus was ridiculously OP? I remember casting nothing and he just ran around with Zeuses all the time. In Pro League, like pro matches.
Big fan of that.
Yeah. Used to love it. Teams he played against probably didn't, though.
Look at this push. Is that Yell with the AWP who's pushed all the way through B?
It is, yeah.
Oh my lord. This could be so deadly. Oh, they just get around the corner in time and all of his teammates are falling. That's so heartbreaking. And
Cello did actually get this use frag as well.
Yes. I love it. We need to see it. We need to see it on the replay.
Cello and Yell still alive and both moving from the same angle. Cello's going to go for the spray, but his aim punch is going to ultimately cost him his life.
All right, now you fall back if you're Yell. You don't have a chance of winning this. And there goes the AWP. There goes his face. His face is off, in the words of Nicolas Cage.
Classic movie. Yeah, I mean, he also had Kevlar and I think maybe a nade, so that's about $6,000 that just evaporated for no good reason. And sure, he's got an AWP, but he doesn't have Kevlar and doesn't have that many nades. What I will say is, though, Yell finished the first half on 4 frags. He's now on 15, so he's really upped his game on the second half.
Okay, yeah. I like that as well. It looks like Fnatic wants to do the old uppercut, pick up the pace. JW's already made it to the platform. Spam through the smoke isn't going to touch him. And he's gotten there relatively quiet, all things considered. Luminosity just kind of spamming and guessing based off utility use, but they've also got Cello gaining information over towards A. They're going to have a quick flank coming in. Lekro's out. He's going to be the aggressor. He just get found, and JW trades away Yell. There's the AWP out of commission.
In that case, is going to have to go huge, and one kill might not be good enough. Flusher spins around with Crims. PKL will have the Sanctuary of the Smoke to at least get up close. But whether he can actually make anything of this is another question. And the answer is a resounding no, as Golden will spray him out of this round and get Fnatic to 14.
It's the CT side failing Luminosity again. This time, this is where it gets scary, because you could say, I almost feel like if they couldn't win that round, how do they expect to win this game? They had a quick flank coming in. They had all the information. They had 4 players over towards the B bomb site, and they still lose in that execute. You have pretty much everything you could ever ask for. It doesn't get too much better than that if you're on the defense of the B bomb site. So tough times for Luminosity. Again, back down to an economic situation where it would be such a risk to invest here. It wouldn't be a great buy. But you almost don't want to allow Fnatic to get up to 15 when you just have USPs.
So maybe like Deagles or something on a few players.
Yeah, half buy, CZ. Okay, some utility as well. They do have the full losing bonus, so they're still going to be able to buy pretty much whatever they want into the next round. But it needs to happen right now. They're still within striking distance, only 3 rounds away to get to 15. So even if Fnatic win this, it's not the craziest thing in the world to think that just a quick 3-round streak. Just in case we wanted to throw this group even more into hell.
Pushing out with Crims, just checking every corner on their way through. With PKL landing that CZ frag on JW, and Showtime being on A long, this could get quite interesting. They also have another player up A long as well. I believe that's Cello. So if he can just get the CZ in position and strike for a couple plays, then who knows? Maybe Luminosity Gaming aren't out of this just yet. Showtime will connect. He goes down to Lekro, who will be followed up by Golden. PKL with 1 as well. And Golden now looking to push through and get that bomb planted. This is where Cello on A-Long could really look to throw a spanner in the works for Fnatic, but he's actually just going to be playing more passive.
How's Flusha alive? Out in the open, getting caught by Cello from behind. Golden and Flusha have a real chance here. Only 1 AK-47 has been picked up. The Molotov is perhaps the most critical. They can flush Golden out, or Flusha for that matter. Where does the Molotov go? It's on PKL. He hasn't thrown it yet. There it is. Flusha into the open. Wins that fight anyways. Does eventually die. Golden in a 1-on-2. He's being wrapped upon, and Nekus is waiting for that peek. Somehow, Luminosity, all the guns in the world couldn't do it, but the CZs work. And they're going to get the defuse here, so it'll be a 13th round. They stay alive still.
That just seems so unreasonable, doesn't it? While you're watching that, like if you're a Fnatic fan right now, you're probably just mad.
Yeah. Why not, though?
PKL first kill into JW, which I believe was on B, and I think JW was on his own again. Just got picked off. They get a weapon from it, and then A-Long just went completely unchecked. So they had 2 players up there the whole time.
Well, 14-13. Still a great half from Fnatic. Still been a dominant T-side from them. And oh my god, Flusha slaps Yell aside behind the smoke. It's one of those things that just doesn't make sense, but we'll allow it.
That's just simply a massive pick for Fnatic as well. Right off the bat, could draw out the player from B to go A.
It's funny because Flush has probably done that like 5 times this half, and it's never like yielded a kill, and just now it does. Yell's got to be frustrated. JW checks beneath, finds the kill. PKL's forced away. Big advantage for Fnatic now in this round.
Which they really should be able to capitalize on. There is still 2 incendiaries for Luminosity, but this is the point where you do worry a little bit. It's almost like you're flipping a coin for Luminosity and trying to guess which site they're going to stack and hope that you have the 2 players there at the right time.
You do just, at this point, you do just take a gamble somewhere. You say, let's just put 3 players in one of the bomb sites. If they come here, we have a chance. If they don't, we save. At this point, you have to keep the economy in mind because you don't, remember, this is, I don't want to say it's a reset round since they won, a half buy, so they're going to have some money. They had some free upgrades to rifles, but it would still be relatively beat up. And so that's what they've done. You can see as well on the minimap, JW with 12 HP has cleared out B, and they're all going to rotate back. There's just one player, Lekro, going up towards A. trying to keep players there, which allows JW to get some space towards the double doors. That's what that kill is sacrificed for. And now they'll wrap around towards B, and Luminosity is still not budging.
Yeah, probably, I would imagine, for the reason that you highlighted, that they just want to save these weapons going through into the next round. Just keep them alive, even though they got the kill on JW now that the bomb's been planted. Do they go in for this? Are they baited in for it now?
It feels like they might be, doesn't it? 3-on-3, they're going to go for it. Flush is in great position. Now they call it save.
Back, yeah.
Yeah, now they're just like, nah, I'm done. It was all a joke.
What's their economy looking like? I mean, Cello is going to have over 5k next round, so it could get a buy. Again, it's not going to be a great buy.
They'll have, you know, Showtime's at 250. He's got a gun, though. It'll be Nekaz who's kind of missing something, but Cello and Yell will be able to have M4s. Cello could even drop an AWP over to Yell. They could trade weapons if they wanted.
Have to wait and see. Luminosity may call a timeout just to completely figure this out, and that's what they've done.
Oh, they saved it up. Okay, so they dropped an over from the previous round. That's nice. Yeah, it might take the timeout now. Talk it over for Luminosity. They have all the rifles. They're going to have plenty of utility as well. So all things considered, this is the best this bad situation could possibly be.
Yeah. PKL is the player that comes up a little bit short as he has UMP as opposed to the M4s or the AK that was saved. But yeah, this is definitely a lot better than it could have been had they've gone for that retake. This does put us into 2 match points though for Fnatic. Will be desperately wanting to make amends for their previous loss. There's not much of a kill spread, actually. I mean, we're nearly into round 30, and the kill spread on Fnatic is 4. Lekro 22, Flusher 18. Everybody else is on 20.
It's not too shabby at all, is it?
Love to see that.
Yeah, you do. Great teamwork coming out for the Fnatic side. Big runs they've had throughout this game. In the first half, they had that 5-0 run to start things off after losing the pistol. Here in the second half, they had another 5-0 half to get them to this point, 5-0 run to get them to this point. So quite nice. Fnatic seems to have, both halves, kind of figured something out that works and just hammer it home for a while. That gives them a big lead. Last chance for Luminosity. Well, they have 2 rounds left to try and force overtime, but they absolutely have to have both of them. 15-3. That or we get another overtime.
And Jason, I think this is the first time we've actually seen either team use this boost that Showtime's in right now.
Yes, very well could be. I don't recall it.
So one time to burst this out, try and catch Fnatic unawares. Of course, need to have eyes on long, otherwise it can get real sketchy real fast. The smokes are being deployed by Fnatic to try and take some form of control over mid, or at least bait out, that's what they're doing. But they're more occupying towards the drop zone as it stands and be long.
That's JW with the AWP trying to find a pick. Not happening so far. Flush is going to clear out long A. With that smoke, he's all on his own, working his way up. Meanwhile, JW's got position at B. Nekaz is on the platform. They do have 1 Molotov for this. It's on Crim's hands. And he's towards drop, so they might not be able to use it. This could be a free kill onto JW if he goes too far. That's a nice shot, though. JW does pick off Yell. They still haven't cleared out Nekaz. Oh, he's given it away. He's given away his position. He's only able to get 1. That 1 tap of the trigger might have just done it, and Lekro's opened up this B bomb site, and the rest of the defense collapses.
Nekaz, bruh. He could have had 2 or 3. Oh, a horrible way. That is like a proper bruh moment.
You hate to see it. Lost his nerve, but good play for Luminosity, all things considered. Just those CT halves now, from what we heard against Astralis and now on Cobblestone, some of the defenses have been lacking for the Brazilian side. But I think everyone's happy with what they've seen and happy with what we've heard from some of the other professional teams that have been here for the boot camp. And obviously we'll see Luminosity again tomorrow. The group is still, I'm pretty sure, pretty wide open considering all the results that we've had, all the overtimes.
Yeah, you've got to think as well, if Luminosity tune up their CT side to be better, they got 9 rounds, that they could actually look to challenge every team here.
Yeah, they absolutely could. We're going to hear from the desk. They'll have the final results and everything. We're going to head over to the Xfinity analyst desk with the analysts.
The Legion post-match breakdown.
Absolutely, Jason. Yeah, we're going to be trying to understand this one a little better. And the group is wide open. The guys at the casting desk were asking, how open is that group? I can just confirm on that B stream, Hellraisers just beat Liquid 16-4. So, Hellraisers are at the top of the group, 7 points for them, and everything else is wide open. We've got 4 points for 2 teams. I believe it is Astralis, FaZe Clan, everyone else on 2. So that's your Luminosities, Fnatic, Liquid. Fnatic, of course, have just picked themselves up an extra 3, so they'll be taking that second spot with this win. And now we're going to talk a little bit about this win. First things first, LG actually actively having a fantastic performance here, at least on their T sides, Jacob. I guess let's look for some positivities for the Brazilians here.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty convincingly on the T side. I'd say, like, they're down 5-1. You know, Fnatic got off to a good start. Janko spoke about how it was a good idea to play aggressively and play their own game, and they did that. Whereas Luminosity found a solution for it, and they came back, and I think they claimed 9 rounds. You know, so a great T side once again. And as Moses said on the stream, you know, it's the CT sides that are lackluster. In the first game, they only got 2 rounds. The third one, they got 2 rounds against Astralis, and now again today, it's just lackluster. You know, they need to work on that.
I mean, Janko, can we kind of find an answer as to why you believe why that could be happening? A team that's new to the scene, that's growing, and that is developing, is struggling to defend. I mean, does it come down to individuals?
It's because when you're on the T side, you have a game plan that you have those set strategies where everyone knows what they need to do. On the CT side, you have to react to what your opponents are doing, right? You have to figure out, okay, what's going on in the map? How do we react to this? If you just play passive the entire round and you forfeit map control to your opponents, well, then they are going to have a fairly easy read on your setup. They're going to have a proper execute to counter that setup, and there's not going to be that much that you will be able to do.
And that did seem to be the case. Couldn't find a way in.
I mean, even on their CT side, the problem is, you have to remember this. Okay, they didn't lose both pistols. They won the first pistol, but they lost the anti-force by round. Then they were down 5-1. They lost the pistol round in the second half, and despite that, they managed to rack up, 3 consecutive rounds, I believe it was. Yes, and they've shown some good CT side play actually against Executes. We have an example of that, Alex, here on our little telestrator. If you want to switch over to that,
I'll see what I can do. Hang on, wait a second. My magic fingers warming him up, and the clap comes in. Telestrator. You see that? Bam. Been working on that for a while.
So this was one of those, solid B executes that we see time and time again from teams on the T side, and it's very important in a situation like this. If you're the CT players, you need to be on the same page. Either play in front of those smokes together or behind them. You can roll it out to see how Fnatic basically, throws the nades early on in case someone is playing close platform. They're setting up for their execute, creeping behind that smoke. You can see that Neck is the guy that plays close towards Speedway, but this is the guy right here in the corner. I'm not even sure you can see him properly. That's Cello, and he is the guy that's basically just being baited for at this point in time. You also don't see Yell. He's all the way in Chicken Coop. So what happens is he gets smoked off as well, or mollied, and then he throws his own smoke. So we can pause it right now just for a second. So he has the line of sight from Chicken Coop. He jumps so that he really lets himself be known. That baits for Cello. No one's gonna look there when a player is in Chicken Coop. You have to actively fight him, and you see the 2 players here, PKL and Nekiz, who were focused a bit towards B platform first, but then they were helping out towards drop, and that was just great team play all around from Luminosity, right? Realizing that Cello is their Joker player in that sort of a setup, so we need to bait for him, even though that peak from Yell wasn't ideal, but he even managed to get a kill, I believe. That baits for Cello, then the rest of the 2 players can focus entirely on drop, and that completely breaks down the attempt from Fnatic to execute that B on that B bomb site. And it's unfortunate that after a good play like this in a gun round, I think it was actually right after this round that they failed in that anti-eco, despite having even a player on the flank and all of that. So I really believe if they win the following round, that's where it's 13-9 for them. They have the control of the economy, they have the momentum, they have the confidence. It's much more difficult for Fnatic to mount that comeback, but feels like that's always the story of the game for these underdogs. They do a good job in some of the more difficult rounds, but then when it's supposed to be smooth sailing is when they maybe get a bit overzealous and throw the advantage away.
get a bit kind of overconfident, do you think, Jacob, when you kind of like, well, we've done the hard part, the easy part to come? I don't know. What do you pin that down to?
I mean, it's more lack of experience, you know, lack of knowing how to finish out a game. You know, that's something even like the pro teams face struggle with in the beginning. You know, how to close out a game. You know, keep consistent, keep your focus at the right times, and keep making the right calls throughout the entire game. It doesn't matter if you make the right calls the first 15 rounds if you don't drop the ball the next 15. So you gotta be there for the entire game, and that's something that takes years of learning and years of experience to master.
Absolutely. And with Group A, or at least the first day of Group A done, let's just have a quick moment of reflection with Janko, because I want to know, you know, let me just quickly read out your standings after our first day of Group A. We had, let's think about this, Hellraisers taking the top spot. I have it in front of me now. 2 wins, 1 loss, 7 points. Hellraisers have set themselves a 3-point clearance. Fnatic have now picked up their win, so it's going to be, no, Fnatic hasn't updated on my thing, but excuse me, Fnatic second, Astralis third, FaZe as well, then Luminosity and Liquid at the bottom.
It's also the fact that Astralis and FaZe have 2 games played, while the rest of the teams in the group have 3. So still a lot of it to unfold, obviously, and seeing how many overtimes we have, wins and losses, I mean, there's a high chance of tiebreakers too. So yes, a couple of surprising results, but in reality, everyone's still in the race.
Yeah, everyone can still do some damage. Luminosity are included in that despite a poor performance, but it was, of course, Fnatic who did overperform and picked that win up. JW is standing by with Trace. We get to hear from him. The Wonder Child is hanging out with Stunner. Let's hear what he had to say.
Yeah, I've got the Wonder Child down here on the floor. Well, you know what, man? You guys just went to the limit there with Luminosity. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second. I kind of want to touch on the game earlier, though, with FaZe. What's it like playing against an old teammate? Talk to me a little bit about the vibes there.
I mean, of course, it adds some pressure playing against Olof, because we used to play with him for so many years, and we have won so many titles together. So, of course, now that we are in different camps, we somewhat, like the core of us, somewhat wants to prove to him that we are really good, you know. So yeah, it's a lot of tensions, and they are right now #1 team and the superstar team, I guess. So yeah, it's a lot of tensions, and of course we really want to win that.
Of course, this group is turning out to be very, very close. You guys obviously going the distance here with Luminosity. Talk to me a little bit about playing against this Luminosity lineup, and I guess expectation-wise, they come out not so flat-footed.
Yeah, I think we're pretty lucky that we played them like their 3rd game or so, because if we played the first game, I think they could have potentially blown us out of the server. But now we actually go into this match, know that they're good opponents. We need to take this 100% seriously. So there were no fooling around from us. They played super explosive. They had a pretty different playstyle that wasn't like super easy to play against, kind of similar to Hellraisers, I would say. So yeah, they just played super, maybe not necessarily randomly, but they played super explosive, and we had it tough against them.
Word on the streets is they had the best boot camp sort of showing in terms of scrims. Some teams even said this is the best team they've played. And I believe that would show right there, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Like I think that their struggle seems to be CT sides. Their T side seems to be insane right now. Huge numbers against us, Astralis, and one other team, I don't remember. Yeah, Hellraisers. But the CT side seems to be a big struggle right now, and I think it's because their T side is pretty unique, as I said, explosive, and they can't really play like that on CT. So as CT, it was pretty easy to like pick them apart, get one frag, rotate, get another frag. So yeah, I think if they sort their CT side out, I think we might see a new Kaboom/SK Gaming in the makings here.
So we need another Brazilian team running around the top of Counter-Strike. Hey, so looking at this, though, just to get into the kind of nitty-gritty here, early on in the game, you guys dropped the first pistol round. Then you find yourself going on a Deagle Eco. Talk to me a little bit about that.
I would say like this team is similar to our old Fnatic lineup when it comes to the pistol rounds. Lekros Deagle is one of the best, if not the best, together with like Nico and Rain. So we have really, really good and strong pistol players. So we're always, even if we lose the pistol rounds, we are always very confident that we can win it back.
Well, your next matchup is going to be against Team Liquid, and I do believe that'll be tomorrow. It's been a long day here as it is, but tomorrow against Team Liquid, they do have a stand-in. Does that change anything for you guys?
I think it makes it a little bit harder for us, because if they use the real lineup, we could kind of expect some things, but now I think it's going to be some random stuff, and Susie is probably going to like sacrifice himself a lot of times for the other players. So I think it's going to be tough, but I hope that we can come out on top and yeah, go through the groups.
That is the ultimate goal. Well, again, congratulations. We're going to go ahead and give it back to the Xfinity analyst desk so these guys can keep breaking it down.
Wow, that's awesome. I want more JW interviews. First things first, I like that. We learned an awful lot, some real credit given to LG as well, even some words of advice for their defensive side. So that's something that they'll certainly be taking back. And they are not out of the running to be making it to those playoffs. LG have games versus Liquid tomorrow and FaZe. So by no means easy, and they're going to have to be picking up wins in regulation to stay competitive. Anything else we've learned from that one from JW? I mean, I guess he's just more concerned about his own team's stance, and also stating how important that win versus FaZe was for them from a morale standpoint.
True, as well as, you know, seeing the results of Luminosity, taking them seriously in their own game, right? I think every team probably came here with the, you know, they're going to be a mini Mongols of sorts. It's just going to be a walkover no matter what, but they've proven that they can most definitely play. So for Fnatic, it was a good sign that they could, because, you know, at times they can underestimate their opponents.
They certainly can, and we previously tried to explain to you what the standings are for Group A, but we actually have a much better way to do it. We can actually visualize it for you. So this is this is the lay of the land after the first day for Group A. Hellraisers holding the top spot, 7 points for them, 2 wins and a loss. And following that, we have Astralis. They managed to pick themselves up, Fnatic with 5 points. Astralis beneath them on 4, joined with FaZe, and LG and Liquid holding up with just the 2 points. It's 3 wins for a regulation win, 1 for an overtime loss, and of course 2, as you can see, has affected it with an overtime win.
And also just important to know that Astralis and FaZe are a game down compared to the rest of the teams in the group, so they have a chance to, you know, change the standings tomorrow. Still a couple of chances. FaZe plays Astralis, then they play also Luminosity.
That's right, yeah, we get to see FaZe Astralis. That's the first game tomorrow. So if you're intrigued to see how that one plays out, do be sure to join us bright and early. But we've got so much more Counter-Strike for you, so it might be a late one. We're going to be preparing ourselves for Group B, so we are going to be taking a little bit of a break. But when we do return, Group B kicks off. There's so much to look forward to. We have North versus SK to kick things off. We get to see what ninjas and pajamas are capable of. Do we get more of that Oakland Ninja performance? Find out with us as we go into Group B after the break.
Det är så jävla viktigt att vinna mot de där trattarna alltså.
Hey guys, this is Exist from NIP. I'm here with Forrest and Getright, and we're gonna figure out who's tweeting what.